Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Process and Content, Exploring Perceptive Software's Strategic Vision. I'm Jeremy McNeeve, Senior Public Relations Manager for Perceptive Software, and I'll be moderating today's webinar. Before I introduce our speaker, I have a few reminders. First, thank you for joining us today. We look forward to sharing details about the exciting new things happening at Perceptive Software, from new companies joining the Perceptive family to the release of new products and offerings. Second, we hope you'll take this opportunity to connect with us via one of our many social media networks, which you'll see on your screen now. It's a great way to get the most up-to-date information on what Perceptive is up to and to engage with us. Lastly, we will have ample time for Darren to answer questions today, so please submit your questions within the webinar chat field for Darren to address after his presentation. Now, I'm pleased to introduce today's speaker, Darren Knipp. Formerly Perceptive Software's Chief Technology Officer, Darren has just recently stepped into a new role and new title with the organization, Perceptive Software Chief Operating Officer. As Chief Operating Officer, Darren provides strategic and operational leadership for Perceptive's global customer-facing operations, including worldwide sales, professional services, support, business development, and cloud services. In his role, he works in concert with Perceptive CEO Scott Coons to develop and cascade the organization's strategic vision throughout the company, ensuring alignment with corporate goals. Since joining Perceptive in 2003, Darren has led the evolution of Perceptive Software's products and solutions, worked closely with the support and services team, and helped secure Perceptive's largest and most complex sales wins and partnerships. Prior to 2003, Darren was a product manager at Interwoven, served as senior engineering manager for Boeing, and as an officer in the United States Air Force, working as a development engineer on the Global Positioning System and various NRO systems. Darren, welcome.
Jeremy, thank you, and welcome to all of our attendees. I'm excited to share some news about our acquisitions and how those all fit into our strategic framework today. So again, there will be ample opportunity for questions at the end. And so with that, let's go ahead and jump into this. First, just a bit about Perceptive Software, founded in 1995, located our headquarters here in Kansas City metro area. We are a process and content management software and solutions provider, one of the 10 largest in the world. We were acquired by Lexmark in June 2010, and since then we've added a number of new capabilities that I'm going to cover with you in more detail as we go through our presentation today, and then also talk about how we bring all of those together to bring the most value to our customers and shareholders. In terms of our presence, we are a global company with over 3,000 customers used by organizations in 30-plus countries. We have offices around the world, and our real focus is bringing deep process and content expertise to specific industries that we serve globally. So with that, let's jump into the acquisitions that we've made over the last really 12 months and talk about each one in brief and then how they come together at Perceptive. First, Brainware, which is headquartered in Ashburn, Virginia, with approximately 140 employees. Their major products are Distiller, which is used really for intelligent capture for invoices and other types of classification, really at the on-ramp to different ERP or CRM systems or ECM systems. Distiller helps capture and add intelligence to all the content coming into those processes. And then in addition, they also had some enterprise search capability encapsulated in their Global Brain product. They're primarily located in the geographies of the UK, Germany, and Switzerland, and they have global blue-chip customers around the world. From a structure standpoint, they are part of Perceptive Software, and their CEO reports to Scott Coons, the Perceptive CEO. ISIS, another recent acquisition with headquarters in Sydney, Australia, and regional offices in Denver and the UK, has approximately 40 employees. Their major products were really their enterprise and federated search capabilities, along with their document filters that enabled the opening and viewing of over 400 different file types that they exist electronically. So world-class enterprise and federated search capability and document filters. Their geographies really, global again. They're targeting primarily Asia-Pacific, North America, and EMEA, and they are also coming under the same structure as Brainware as part of Perceptive Software, with their CEO reporting to Scott as well. Knowledge, really a higher ed focused company based in Beverly, Massachusetts, with approximately 40 employees. They also joined us this last quarter, or in Q1. Their product really was a 100% web-based document imaging product with concentration in the higher ed industry. They also had some unique capabilities in the data transfer between systems, and they were the fastest growing ECM provider with higher education focus only. So a lot of nice capabilities and technologies within their suite that we're able to take advantage of, and we'll talk to some of that later. Primary geography was North America, and again the same structure as we talked about before. They're part of Perceptive Software, and they will report up through Scott Coons, the Perceptive CEO. They will join Perceptive's education-focused business unit, giving us what we think is the most, is definitely the strongest and deepest and broadest domain expertise in the higher education market when you bring our two organizations together. So with that and those acquisitions, let's take about the next 10 or 12 minutes or so, and we'll talk with you just as we would our customers about how these pieces come together to bring value to our customers. So typically when we talk to customers, we hear a number of consistent themes. One is they're trying to control cost, but most importantly, they're trying to increase revenue while increasing customer satisfaction. That's their focus. And to do that, they've invested in numerous systems across their business, whether that's an ERP system, a supply chain management system, a customer relationship management system, financial aid, insurance claims, healthcare records, electronic medical record systems. So across all industries, they've invested heavily in different types of applications to help them run their business and to meet those objectives. When you look at these business applications, as we refer to them, these are what really are driving our customers' businesses. It's where they've invested heavily in both time and resources to get these systems up and running. And when we look at these systems, there's really two facets to them. The first is the processes that they're focused on automating. So there's been a lot of time, both by the vendor as well by customers, to put these systems in place to help automate processes. However, despite that, a number of analysts still report that over 70% of all processes are manual. So despite that investment in these resources, a large majority of processes still are largely manual. The other facet to these systems is around content and unstructured content. Almost all processes involve some type of content, whether that be an invoice, a voice recording, a video of a claim or a photo damage or a photo of a wound, or it can even be a paper document or an electronic EDI stream. It all involves some type of document. And again, that content is critical to almost every business process. And a very commonly cited fact is that 80% of all content is unstructured. That means that it lies outside of a structured data system like an ERP or a CRM or something along those lines that you're using to run your business. So what this really means is that within this box of your business application, while you're managing some of your processes and some of your content, a great majority of it still lies really outside your perspective. So your perspective is limited to what you have control over with your business application. And what this means is the greatest area of cost savings that are available to the enterprise are beyond your visibility because they exist in that unstructured content and in those manual processes. In addition, what it means is you're opening yourself to increased risk for compliance failure because you don't know your processes, you don't have control over them, and there's content that resides all over the enterprise, on average between 15 and 20 different repositories, file shares, and websites will what an enterprise is, where enterprise intellectual property is stored. Now, in an ideal world, what you would want to do, of course, is to expand your business application to cover these manual processes and unstructured content. But with a recent Forrester survey of business process professionals, 79% of them cited the inflexibility of their business application, the inability to quickly adapt those systems to meet the rapid changing needs of an enterprise as the #1 impediment to them making those changes and helping the business grow as fast as it wants, helping them control the cost like they want to, and helping them continue to increase customer satisfaction. So how does Perceptive software help organizations like you? Well, what we do is we bring the tools to help you expand your visibility across these systems and across these manual processes and across this unstructured content. We make it available within the context of your business application so that it's easy for your customers to use, and we give you the tools to help control those processes. In so doing, what we help you do is capture those cost savings across the organization by putting more control around those manual processes. And we help you discover across all your different repositories all the types of unstructured content that you have so that you can start reducing the risk that you're exposed to from a compliance standpoint. In the end, this can boil down to kind of three main things. We give you more intelligence about the systems and the processes of the content that are running your business. We give you the ability to control and make changes rapidly to the entire spectrum of processes that are available or that exist in the organization and the content that goes along with it. And finally, we make it accessible right from within your core business system or from your mobile device or via the cloud. So you have access anywhere to these types of capabilities. So with that, let's take a little bit deeper look about how we do that, starting first with the content side and what we're doing to help customers get a handle on their content. The first step, and really a key step, is the intelligent distributed capture capabilities that we offer with Perceptive. Now, prior to the Brainware acquisition, we were able to scan from a scanner, capture email, fax, EDI transmissions, work with smart MFPs, capture e-forms, all those types of things, all distributed because our goal is always to capture it on the edge and get it into the process as soon as we can to maximize the customer's ability to manage the risk and to increase the security that goes along with having the documents captured. With the addition of Brainware, what we've done is added a tremendous amount of intelligence to the system right from the start. So now we've added an intelligent on-ramp, capture on-ramp to the Perceptive system so that I can extract a great amount of detail automatically from all different types of content as they come in. What that enables is I can automatically feed business systems with this information. I can make more intelligent business processes, and I can also start to define an organizational structure to the content that makes things very easy to find, as well as set up robust lifecycle and retention records management policies for all the content in our system. So Brainware adds a rich, intelligent capture capability to our existing portfolio of functionality. The next aspect of management or content management is really the management of this content within the system. And in here we provide a lot of the capabilities you come to expect, from version control to some collaboration features to digital signatures to library services. And with the addition of ISIS, what we've done is, as part of the search capability advantage, is we've now opened up your entire enterprise to be searched and to have that content now managed within within Perceptive and put in context of your applications. We've also provided the ability to render a 5-year-old version of Visio, for example, even though you don't have a license for that application installed on the user's desktop. This is a tremendous amount of capability that the organization now can realize to take advantage of all that what was siloed intellectual property that exists throughout the organization through the capabilities of ISIS federated and enterprise search capability, as well as their document filters. Next is the capabilities we have related to protecting that content. So we can protect the content through retention policies, long-term archiving, and all different types of things, again, that are set up with the intelligence that we have right up front during the capture process. So a robust set of capabilities to protect your assets for as long as you want. And this goes back to managing your risk compliance, is that we have a saying that it's good to let go. You really only want to keep things, content assets, as long as you need to keep them. And that varies by industry. And we bring best practices to our customers and work with a number of organizations to help our customers understand what those best practices are, and then use our easy-to-use wizard-based administrative tools to set up those retention and records policies. And then finally, we touched on this already, is really a key attribute, and that is the ability to now access this unstructured content and all these processes right inside your core business system, right from the cloud to any mobile device as well. So access to any process, any content from anywhere is a key piece of what we do as part of our content management portfolio. So that covers the content side. Back to our picture now. Let's spend some time and look at the process management capabilities that we have with Perceptive and how they can bring value to you and your organizations. So remember, we said on many of these processes, 70% of them were still manual. So one of the first things that you have to do as an organization is discover what your real processes are. And typically this is done through an interview process where you get a consulting company that will come in and they'll ask people, what do they think the process is? And they'll get variations, and it takes a tremendous amount of time to really get to net out what a process really is across an organization. And a lot of times there's disagreement that has to be worked through. Well, with Reflect 1 from Palace Athena, we now have the capability to strip away all the subjectivity and empirically look at the data that's been driving your business and give you a true picture about what your processes really are. And this is where we get a first-hand look at processes that most people think are automated. And when you actually look at them, typically greater than 70-some% are more manual than you can even imagine. And so we have tools that help you understand those processes so that you can then start applying our rich design tools from Palace BPM1 Design to help you start better piecing together how you want that process to look. And again, this is where we bring best practices to our customers in the industries we serve about what all the thousands of customers that we have, what they're doing in those industries, and help them take advantage of those best processes. We also enable our customers to collaboratively design these complex business processes. Because let's face it, most of the time a process is not conceived and designed by one person. They're complex enough. They require a team of people to be designing these processes that run your organization. And so you need the collaborative design capabilities that exist within BPM1 Design to help that make that happen. Next up is you have to have faith in the execution engine that is running your processes. And with BPM1 Control, again from Palace Athena, we offer a very rich set of dynamic exception handling and transaction-based capabilities to help you execute those processes across your entire organization, across all your different applications. You can now take control using our designer and using the execution engine, those processes across all those business applications. And then finally, it's the ability, it's the insight, it's the intelligence to quickly improve your processes using tools like Business Insight from Perceptive, or again, back to Reflect 1, to truly understand the performance of your processes and then rapidly make changes at the business user level, at the power user, that person who understands the process the best, and you give them the security privileges to do so, can go into the designer and make those changes rapidly. Again, allowing the customer to meet those objectives of rapid growth, increased customer satisfaction, but while managing their cost and their risk. So those are the things, those are the capabilities, and that's the strategy of how we provide, of how we meet the value that we bring to our customers. Now, more specifically, how do we bring that to our customers and how are we integrating it? A couple ways. The first is, and what I'll do before I jump into this deck, is just at a high level, when we think in terms of integration, it is our commitment, it always has been, to be incredibly easy to use and administer for our customers. And so we are deeply integrating these products. And there's really 4 phases. The first phase is brand, in terms of just making sure we have consistent brand across all these products. The next is solutions, where we make sure the solutions, the different products can interoperate. The next phase is where we actually start creating new products from these capabilities. And then the 4th phase is where we break everything down into different capabilities that exist so that we can reassemble them rapidly into product and solutions. And really that's where, that is what Cloud Plus is for us. So today we have roughly 100 customers. It represents about 20% of our revenue each quarter is driven through our existing cloud business, which is largely Perceptive software hosted in the cloud today. What we're working on aggressively, especially in light of these acquisitions to take advantage of all the capabilities, is the next generation, the true cloud architecture for Perceptive software that's a collection of independent RESTful web services that exposes our content and process services to the cloud and allows us to now leverage the best capabilities from all the Perceptive software divisions. So what you can imagine is for a Brainware, for example, where they may have, we'll atomize that functionality into some rich search capabilities, rich data extraction, rich OCR. Image now, where it's one application today, it'll become 10 or 12 different capabilities around search or OCR or workflow and process control or version control or image processing, those types of capabilities, again, across the entire portfolio. So we're atomizing all these applications into discrete capabilities, and we're moving those aggressively to the cloud as discrete capabilities. That's the foundation. Then what we're also doing is we start bringing these capabilities together in cloud products is we're making each one independently priced and solution-oriented with a usage-based pricing model and a map that maps to our customer value. So if you have a certain value position that from a customer or partner that you're driving towards, the way that we license or that we offer these services will be very flexible. And so each cloud product is really a combination of cloud foundation services that we talked about, these capabilities that span the entire Perceptive software portfolio, as well as product-specific code for that specific offering to the market. And then finally, from a partner standpoint, everything that we're building in the cloud foundation is standards-based RESTful web services wrapped with rich SDKs. So we will expose all of these capabilities individually to our partners. So if you're on Azure and you have a marketplace and you have an application that you want the best-in-class business process control, you can leverage that. You want the best capabilities around designing business processes, you can leverage just that. You want the best capabilities around advanced data extraction or federated or enterprise search, you can leverage just those capabilities. We think this is going to be a very compelling approach for our partners in terms of the rich SDKs and the atomization and the modularity that we're offering to them to take advantage of this so that they don't have to go and build their own process control engine. They can consume ours in a very standards-based, scalable way. So that's what we're doing from the cloud, and that's how all this ties together from that regard. And then from a mobile standpoint, we are shortly releasing a couple of applications, both native applications for iOS and Android, and the Windows Mobile is coming soon. Those will be out in the next 2 months for Interact for Android and Interact for iPad. And really the goal there is, like what we talked about before, is provide anywhere access to your processes and to your content so that you can review, update, approve, and accelerate the processing of those business processes regardless of where you're at. And so that's what we're doing on the mobile standpoint. A number of exciting features available there. We've been working with customers the last year and a half on these initial deployments of the mobile capabilities that we'll have. And then finally, what makes Perceptive different at a high level? In addition to this, the capabilities that we have, our approach to bringing them together, the value prop that we see for our customers, and our support for the cloud and mobile aspects of what we're seeing as trends in the IT and from our customers, it's really a focus on a couple areas. First of all, when you look at conventional applications, conventional enterprise applications more specifically, what you see a lot is complicated setup and admin is needed for them to effectively take advantage of their purchase. In addition, a lot of times it competes or replaces their existing system. It also typically has a confusing user experience because there's too many features exposed and it's not focused enough on a specific persona or industry-based solution. And then finally, you have to make choices about where you want to deploy and those types of things because they've not done a good job yet of bridging what is cloud versus what is on-premise versus what is mobile, those types of things. At Perceptive, our goal has always been, and it remains, to empower administrators, empower users to make complex changes to the system appear easy. So they're actually making changes that are very complex, but they do it in a way that they don't understand what that really means, and it's done in such a way that the system will catch and prevent them from making mistakes, and it's done through very easy to use tools. Secondly, our goal, like we talked about early on, is to unlock the value of your business applications and to complement them. Our goal is to put the content in context of those applications so that when you're working in any of those processes, whether they're structured or they're those manual processes that we've given you control and more structure around, we bring all of that in context of your application so that the user feels it's seamless and so that they don't have any additional clicks, but now they have the intellectual property and the processes that are driving the business right at their fingertips. This also, of course, because we're so industry focused, we talk with physicians, we talk with AP clerks, we talk with healthcare information management professionals, we talk with financial aid folks, we talk with insurance claims adjusters. We sell direct largely today, and that gives us a lot of benefit to work directly with our customers so that we can drive very specific, persona-based, intuitive user experiences. And then finally, like we've talked about before, the flexible deployment options that can be on-premises, cloud, mobile. We support them all, and we support them seamlessly for our customers so that in some cases you can have a solution that runs on-prem, another solution may run into the cloud, and one solution may span an on-premise deployment and cloud and be seamless to our customer. So with that, that concludes kind of my talking to the slides part of the presentation. At this point, we'll open it up to questions.
Thank you, Darren. Real nice job. Thanks everybody for joining us. We hope you'll remain with us for the Q&A. Questions are rolling in, so let's get started. Our first question is from Danny. He asks, your recent acquisitions seem promising, but how do you plan to avoid the problems most ECM vendors face with a confusing user experience that can come from trying to patch together multiple technologies that were originally developed separately?
That's a good question, Danny. Really, and I think I hit on this a bit, but really it comes first to a commitment to not allow that to happen. And that's one of the main reasons why with these different acquisitions that we made, we put them all into one R&D team. So there's one R&D team that spans all the capabilities that Perceptive has, and then we take our approach that says first brand, second solution, which is interoperability via web services, third is product, and four is platform. That's our approach to driving these platforms together while still enabling the business units to rapidly respond to the needs of their specific customers and organizations.
Very good. The next question comes from Mike. Your story about completing an existing ERP system like SAP or Oracle makes sense, but isn't that message less compelling when an organization has multiple systems or homegrown applications?
That's another good question, and I can see why a lot of folks may go that way. We actually see it in reverse. The more applications that a customer has, the more value we think we can bring to those applications using our patented integration approaches that we have that are encapsulated in both Learn Mode and in 6.7 Pre-Retrieve, so that we can immediately make them content aware with no programming. What that means in a nutshell is that regardless of the application, we can put your process and content being managed within Perceptive software right alongside those applications. And using ISIS, we can now also put content that's managed outside of ImageNow, whether it's on a file share, another ECM system, or anywhere in the enterprise. We can also put that right in context of your business application. So a key tenet for Perceptive has always been is our integration focus, because we've always worked alongside these systems. So actually, the more systems you have, the stronger that value proposition becomes.
Great. Our next question comes from Al. My customer uses SharePoint. They tell me that data goes in, but it's hard to get out. At a high level, how can Perceptive work with SharePoint to make it easy to retrieve data?
So, Al, good question, and we get this a lot too. SharePoint is great for what it does, provides nice collaboration. It's easy for users to get up and ready to create some sites. But the the lack of good organization when the content comes in is a challenge for when you want to find things later, and SharePoint has never been set up to work right alongside a business application like ours. So we can look at this in a couple ways. One of the ways that you can, of course, make your SharePoint information available rapidly or more easily, and that Perceptive can help you with, is through our ISIS search product. So now with ISIS, we can help you search across your SharePoint repositories and give you immediate access to all the content in SharePoint and any system in your organization. We can either have a connector for, or we can rapidly create a connection for. And then working with inside ImageNow, we can immediately then put that content, if you desire, right in context of your business application. So that's kind of at face value what we could do probably within the first few hours, is give you immediate access to all your SharePoint repositories using the federated enterprise search capabilities of ISIS. Now, I think at the core of your question really is, how do you make it searchable even within SharePoint if you want to do that? And that's where systems and capabilities like what Brainware provides, when you're capturing this information and classifying and wrapping it with rich metadata, that if you can do that, that will also help your search and find experience inside SharePoint. And in addition, Perceptive we have connectors and web parts for SharePoint already to expose ImageNow content directly through SharePoint as well. So we have a handful of options ranging from federating and enterprising your search across your SharePoint repositories using a very easy-to-use ISIS interface, and/or working right through the ImageNow client if you want to do things in context of your business application. We can wrap it. We can wrap the content, the electronic content that's in SharePoint, better using tools like Brainware to classify it and wrap it with rich metadata. And then finally, you can also use the web part that Perceptive offers today to give you some additional capabilities inside SharePoint.
This is a good transition because we do have an ISIS-specific question. This is actually a multi-part question from Bob. If a client is trying to administer multiple content management systems across the organization, how will ISIS function? Essentially, will your newly acquired technology from ISIS allow search across all systems, and can the technology assist with consolidation?
No, it's a very good question, and yeah, the short answer is yes. Without question, that's really what ISIS brings. It brings you the ability now to get a grip on all the content that exists across your organization using the enterprise and federated search capabilities that ISIS provides to either crawl those systems or execute searches against those systems, and then present that all in a very easy-to-use interface that has additional capabilities for refining your search, accelerating parameters, accelerating research. So it's a very rich interface. And then when you have access to, when you see that content across these systems, you can open any of those files using the document filters that ISIS also provides. So you don't have to worry about having the right version of Word or the right version of Visio or PowerPoint or some other obscure application, because the document filters offered by ISIS enable you to open that. So immediately now you can access all that information and figure out what is most relevant to you, so that as you start thinking about consolidating systems to save costs on maintenance contracts, and you can audit which content is actually being accessed more frequently, then you can move that as part of a conversion process. So you tend to hear, federate before you consolidate. The ISIS set of capabilities really do allow you to do that. And you can selectively figure out, based on how many times a piece of content is accessed, if you want to move it over into a consolidated store like Perceptive software. In addition, it'll also help you understand what the retention policy, what the lifecycle policy more specifically should be for that content asset, so that you can stage it correctly in your storage tiers, also driving down costs to the organization.
Great. This is going to be a question I'm sure you've been asked many a times, but we do have some education folks on the line. They're very interested in the acquisition of knowledge. How does the knowledge acquisition expand your offerings in the higher ed space, and aren't these the same products you already have?
No, it's a good question. Actually, it's one that we had across the company as well. Really, knowledge acquisition was primarily focused on one area, and that is adding to the deep domain expertise that we have in the higher education market. We're the leader. Knowledge was up and coming. They have some great capabilities around document imaging, and they have deep domain expertise. So like I had mentioned before, Our goal is to bring deep domain expertise to our customers and the technology that help them drive their businesses faster while controlling their costs and increasing customer satisfaction. You don't do that unless you have deep domain expertise. So that was really the primary thrust of the knowledge acquisition, was to do that. Secondly, they also have some tremendous technology in the area of web-based high-volume scanning that we're going to be able to take to offer to our customers. Some fantastic transfer capabilities, and they're also going to enable us to take some offerings potentially to other markets that are better suited to the kind of capabilities that they have, as opposed to what the traditional ImageNow functional points were. So overall, this is about domain expertise, but there's also a strong tie-in with technology. And what it really does show is our continued commitment and focus on the higher education space.
Great. Looks like we have one last question. That comes from Shelley. Can you expand on your RESTful services and how that is being utilized in your Cloud Plus model?
Sure. So our RESTful interfaces, so a quick backdrop first. We've had SOAP-based web services since 2004, so we're very familiar with the model. What we're doing, and actually these are already shipping, is we've exposed a number of our capabilities on our on-premise offering in ImageNow 6.7, which ships in July. We've exposed those as RESTful-based interface, so they're just exposed as URL endpoints, and they're very easy to construct, and now you have access to key capabilities that exist within the product. In fact, a number of our ImageNow 6.7 deliverables were built on our RESTful interface, such as our Interact for Outlook product was built on the RESTful interfaces that we exposed to our core content management system, which is ImageNow. Going forward, what we're really doing is we're just taking these acquisitions that we have, and we're atomizing what really was, for the most part, more monolithic, legacy-based architectures, and we're breaking those down into discrete capabilities and wrapping each one with RESTful interfaces and then convenience libraries as part of the software development kit, so it's easy for customers and partners to consume those rapidly, either on their own or as part of a larger product or offering they're taking to market.
Okay. Well, Darren, thank you so much today for your time. That concludes our webinar. Once again, thank you for attending today's webinar, Process and Content, Exploring Perceptive Software's Strategic Vision. The webinar recording, including the Q&A, which you just heard, will be available on our website at www.perceptivesoftware.com/webinars. And if you do have any additional questions or requests, please contact Megan McClendon, our Perceptive Software Communications Manager, by email at megan.mcclendon@perceptivesoftware.com. Thank you again to everybody for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you soon.